Cyberpunk 2077. Raise your hand if you're tired of hearing about Cyberpunk 2077. Good. Now put your hand down because we're going to talk some more about Cyberpunk 2077 and how apparently the numbers have come in and the game has sold more than 13 million copies despite the launch disaster and refunds. And this article is coming to us from The Verge. So let's go ahead and get into this article. But before I do, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Almost 60% of you guys are not subscribed. And leave a comment down below. I want to know what weird bugs you've encountered playing Cyberpunk 2077 and if the latest patches have made the game any better for you. So, Verge is reporting Cyberpunk 2077 has sold more than 13 million copies despite launch disasters and refunds. The game had more than 8 million pre-orders. I did not pre-order Cyberpunk 2077, by the way. So, Cyberpunk 2077 sold more than 13 million copies since its launch 2 weeks ago. Has it been 2 weeks? Wow. It's been 2 weeks. According to the parent company of developer CD Projekt Red, the sales milestone revealed in an investor note from CDPR on Tuesday is a remarkable one considering it accounts for some digital and physical refunds resulting from the game's messy launch. The metric is counting sales between the game's release on December 10th through the 20th, the note says. It's about half of the 12-month sales forecast analysts projected for the game shortly after launch, but before digital storefronts said they would begin accepting refunds. Selling 13 million copies makes Cyberpunk 2077 one of the best-selling games of the year, though it still lags far behind the top 50 best-selling games of all time and CD Projekt Red's last big hit, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which sold more than 28 million copies across all platforms. Still, few games ever sell more than 10 million copies, and to break into the top 50 of all time, you need only sell more than 19 million copies to beat out NES classic Super Mario Bros. 3. It's likely Cyberpunk 2077 sales could soar far higher once the studio fixes more of its bugs, and the game is re-released on PlayStation Store. Sony pulled the game last week and began processing digital refunds for unsatisfied buyers. That was a cluster, if I could say so myself. So right here, CD Projekt Red said it sold 13 million copies of Cyberpunk through digital and physical distribution channels as of December 20th. This number factors in refunds processed by this point at both retail and digital. The financial success of the role-playing game stands in stark contrast with its public perception as a multifaceted failure. I wouldn't say it's a failure because, listen, when you're talking about selling 13 million copies, that is no way near a failure. I've said many times, and if you haven't watched my review on Cyberpunk 2077, go watch my review, which I actually put out today. I enjoy playing the game. I do like it, but it has some pretty significant problems to it. So without going into detail, go ahead and watch that video. I'll link it at the end of this video for you guys to watch. A fact that has only intensified criticism of CDPR and also raised the possibility of a class action lawsuit that something can be that successful while also being considered a deeply compromised product is also a stunning indictment of the current video game industry and its marketing and pre-order model. Because the studio promised the game would run well on current generation consoles or last generation consoles, however you want to look at it, it was able to accumulate more than 8 million pre-orders for Cyberpunk 2077, effectively covering the cost of the game's nearly decade-long development cycle in a single-day sales. Meanwhile, the studio took efforts to allegedly hide the performance of the game on those systems from media outlets ahead of time. They did. Not allegedly, they did. They didn't give out review copies for Xbox or PlayStation. If you wanted to get a review copy of Cyberpunk 2077, it had to be on PC. If you didn't request it on PC, they did not send you one. I know this because that's what happened to me. I requested it on PlayStation. They said they didn't have any available. After giving us the option, right? After giving your reviewers the option, you go and say, oh, we don't have it available. Unlike other forms of media, which can often be easily assessed in standardized format, video games require extensive first-hand experience on a variety of platforms for the full extent of a product's overall quality to become clear. Without that knowledge ahead of time, millions of people purchased Cyberpunk 2077, only to discover its flaws later once players began posting clips online and assessing the game's various bugs and performance issues on message boards. Hence the refund campaign, which was its own whirlwind of controversy after CDPR revealed it had not hammered out formal refund agreements with its retail partners before advising customers ask for their money back, which then basically tried to throw Sony and Microsoft under the bus, which then prompted Sony to retaliate, saying, "We're going to pull the game and refund the game, and until this game is fixed, we will not be putting it back up on PlayStation Store." So yeah, this has been an absolute mess for CDPR, but the game still sold well, which doesn't surprise me. Again, it's a fun game to play when it's working. Since the latest patch update, which is 1.05, the game on PS5, I don't know on PS4 because I haven't put it into my PS4 because I don't want my PS4 to blow up because I have a base model. But as of that patch on PS5, the game is running smooth. It does have some hiccups here and there. There are still some T-posing characters. There's still some frame rate drops. There's still some graphical glitches, things of that nature. But it's not terrible. It's playable. The game hasn't crashed on me in my past 2 live streams. Both streams have gone for well over 5 hours each. And yeah, I haven't had the issues that I was having before that patch, because before that patch, the game would crash every hour and a half. Sometimes crashing as quick as 40 minutes after playing the game. So it's a big improvement. They're continuing to make improvements, but I feel like most of these sales, honestly, at this point, also considering the refunds, I feel like most of the sales are on PC, which would be my recommended way to play the game, is to play it on PC. Even if you don't have the newest graphics cards, even if you have a GTX 1066 gig, which is the recommended GPU for this game, I would still play it on PC. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, leave a comment down below. Let me know what glitches or problems you may have experienced in Cyberpunk 2077. Also, let me know if you still experience them after the latest patch. And let me know what console you're on as well. Until next time, guys, I'll see you real soon.